Hello and welcome to today's practice yoga for bone strength. We're going to begin today's practice standing and we're going to start in mountain pose. And if you have a yoga block, I'm going to invite you to catch hold of your yoga block. You can start facing the front short side of your yoga mat, but I'm going to turn out to face you just initially as we're setting this up. So we're going to stand approximately with the feet hip bone distance apart. We're going to take the long face of the block. We're going to place the long face of the block between the inner legs. So sort of more like mid inner legs down toward the inner knees. And as you come into that position, you can then place your hands at your heart in the prayer position. And we want to feel the feet press down into the mat, almost in a way that feels like you're anchoring into the heels and anchoring down into the balls of the feet while feeling some lightness through the center of the arches. Maintaining length through your spinal column and allow your eyes to find a steady gazing point. Feeling the action of the inner legs hugging in toward the block. We're utilizing this feeling of this pose to help prepare for the tree pose. So just being aware of this sensation of maintaining the inner legs drawing in toward the block. Also, be aware of the knees. Sometimes, if we overly hug the block, the kneecaps will start to fall inward. So, you do want to maintain that anchoring of the inner feet and outer feet, which will help the kneecaps track a little more forward. Another breath in, a last breath out here. After this next exhalation, you can reach down if you're using the block, remove the block, and set the block down. Still facing the front short side of the mat, we're going to shift the weight into the right foot. Bringing that left foot up, we're going to take a balance pose here. So the left ball of the foot might be down on the floor. Another really great way to set this pose up is to even maybe use a block beneath the ball of the foot or get close to the wall so that you have some wall support. If you like, you could slide the foot up to the inner calf or you could slide it up past the inner knee so that it lands on the inner thigh. Now, if you think about that sensation of the inner legs hugging into the block, that's what you're going to do here with the inner thigh and the foot. Even if the foot doesn't land on the inner thigh, you still want to have that action of drawing into the center. Lengthen from the inner groin out through the inner knee. Press your hands together and reach up long through the crown of the head. Remember, you can always use a wall for support. Finding a fixed point for your eyes. Stay here or inhale, circle sweep your arms, reaching your arms long by the sides of the face. Taking another few rounds of breath. Feeling the balance of both steadiness and ease, strength through the bottom leg and the foot, softness around your forehead and your eyes. Next exhalation, slowly release your arms, slowly release your left foot down. Just being cautious if the block is there. For the movement between the two sides, I recommend going a little wide with your feet, heels in, toes out, and then a gentle empty coat sleeve motion. Just a little bit of rocking across the feet, winding in the spine. Okay. We're going to let the arms begin to slow down. We're going to adjust now the weight into the left foot. So if you were using a block, just stepping to the outside of that block so you can press the right ball of the foot into the block. The heel can rest against the inner left shin bone calf region. Stay here or catch hold of a wall, slide the foot up to the calf or come up above the knee. So you can bring your prayer hands together at your heart. So press the palms together and broaden across your collarbones and press the inner thigh into the sole of the foot. And feeling that sense of drawing into the center, even if the foot is lower than the inner thigh. Thinking about that sense of drawing in toward your yoga block. Finding a fixed gazing point for your eyes. Staying here with your hands or circle sweeping those arms out to the sides, stretching your fingertips maybe up toward the sky. Sideways, lifting up and out of your pelvis as you remain strong, but also this sense of relaxation in your pose. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Another breath in. Last breath out. Okay, slowly releasing the arms, releasing the right foot. Again, those empty coat sleeves, so heels in, toes out. Gently rock across your feet, rotating through the spine. That winding of the arms around the body. Okay, and then slowing down. All right, we're going to be facing the mountain position, still at that front short side of the mat. Blocks can go to the front short side. Take a breath in, circle sweep your arms, reach them up and along the sides of your face. Now, as you're exhaling, bring your prayer hands together and through your heart as you bend at your knees and hinge your body forward over your legs, coming into the forward folding position. As you're inhaling, lift your spinal column halfway. So you can use your hands on your blocks to lift your belly away from your thighs. Now we're going to take the blocks and frame the front right foot, and we're going to step the left foot back into a high lunge. Spinning the left heel down to the mat and sliding one of the yoga blocks, if you're using them, to the inner right ankle. We're going to inhale, you can take the secondary block, move it off to the side. Cartwheel the left arm around until you turn to face the left long side of the mat. So just starting here in warrior two. I'm going to bring the hands together in a prayer position at the heart. You're going to inhale, warrior two position, and you're going to exhale, press into your right foot and straighten your knee. Inhale, warrior two. We're just going to do a few of these pulses in and out of this warrior two position. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. Let's do two more. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. Last one. Keeping the crown of the head tethered upward to the sky. Exhale to straighten. We're going to heel toe that back left foot in for a slightly shorter stance, just about 1 to 2 inches in. Rebend the right knee just a bit. Left hand to left hip, send your right arm out parallel to the floor. And we're going to reach toward the right leg. We're going to hinge into extended triangle pose. So as you start to come down over that right leg, you can bring your right leg more towards straight. And your right hand is going to come to the block if you're using one. Otherwise, to the shin bones is also fine. We're going to take the gaze down toward the right big toe, pressing strong into the four corners of each foot. So inner ball of the foot, outer ball of the foot, inner heel, outer heel. You can stay here with your left hand or bring the hand to the left chest. This is a secondary possibility. Or stretch that left arm up toward the sky. Prefer to keep the gaze downward toward that right big toe for the entirety of the pose, as this creates a little bit more relaxation in the region of the neck. Feel the soft ujjayi breath, that deepening of the breath at the back of the throat as we take another round or two of breath. Deep inhale and last exhale here. Bring your left hand down to your left hip. Begin to bend a bit into your right knee. And if you're using the block, I'm going to invite you to catch hold of that block. And as you come up, bring the block with you. Bring the block into the center of your chest, catching hold with both hands. Straighten your right knee and spin your right toes to face the long side of the mat. Pivoting your feet now. So left toes turn to face the back short side of the mat. You can take a moment, set the block to the inside of your left ankle, and bend your left knee over your ankle. Prayer hands at the heart. Inhale, warrior two legs. And then exhale, press into the foot and straighten the knee. Inhale, allow the left knee to bend. Exhale, press into the foot and straighten the knee. Dynamic warrior two. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale to straighten. We're going to do two more. Keep the crown of the head reaching upward toward the sky. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, keeping that left knee straight, heel toe the back right foot in 1 to 2 inches. Softly bend that left knee. That's just going to make the transition into the pose just a little more gentle for the low back. So right hand to right hip, left arm's going to stretch back toward that back short side. You're going to reach toward the back short side of the mat, then begin to start to tip down. So as you tip down, the hand can land on the shins, or you can let it come to your yoga block. And then you're going to gaze down at your left big toe. Now think about the energetic line from pubic bone up through belly button. So you're kind of zipping up, engaging through the core. So you're really strong through the center of the body. Right hand stays on the hip, or right hand can come to the right front chest with the elbow point drawing up. And possibly extend the right arm up toward the sky. Take a deep breath in. Soften through your eyes. Soften through your forehead. That arm that's possibly extended, really activate through the palm and spread through your fingers. Another inhale. Another exhale. Bring your right hand down to your right hip. Begin to bend into your left knee. Catch hold of the block if you're using it. Bring it up to the chest, catching hold with both hands. Press into your left foot. Straighten your knee. Spin your toes. Right toes face the front short side. Bending into your right knee a bit. We're going to bring that block back down to the inside of the right ankle. So we're going back to warrior two, dynamic warrior two. So prayer hands at heart. Inhale, warrior two position. Exhale, straighten the knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the knee. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten. We're going to do that motion just 2 more times. So inhale, warrior two. Exhale to straighten the knee. Very last one. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale to straighten. This time we're going to go back into warrior two. So inhale, warrior two. We're going to hold there. And we're going to come into extended side angle. So we're going to start by taking the arms out into that warrior two position. We're going to start to lean toward the front right leg, and the right forearm is going to come down on the right thigh. A few options for this top left hand. One is to the hip. One is to send the arm straight up as though it were facing 12 o'clock on the face of a clock. And the third option is to bring that top left arm along the side of the face. Now, I want to encourage you to pay a lot of attention to the underneath side of the body. So you want to press down into your forearm, feel a little bit of a lift of the underneath side of the body. You can always stay right here. The block is also right here, so you might end up coming down with your hand on the yoga block, using that right forearm as a little bit of an anchor so that you press just a bit into the inner right knee, and the inner right knee draws or hugs slightly in toward your right elbow. Engage from the pubic bone up through the belly button so you create a container of strength at the core of the body. I'm going to also encourage you to gaze down at that right foot. Take a breath in, a breath out. One last breath in and out. Okay, we're going to bring this top left hand back to the hip. It's not already there. So catch hold of the block with the right hand. Press straight down through the legs and the feet. Rise up. Block comes to the center chest. Press into your right foot. Spin your right toes. Spin your left toes to face the back short side of the yoga mat. So right toes can face the long side, or they can be slightly angled in depending on how that feels on your outer ankle. Block is going to come down. Prayer hands at the heart. Bend your left knee over the ankle. Press your hands. Exhale, straighten your knee. Inhale, bend the knee. Warrior two legs. Exhale to straighten. Inhale, warrior two legs. Exhale to straighten. 2 more times. Inhale, warrior two legs. Exhale to straighten. Inhale, warrior two legs. Exhale to straighten. Inhale, warrior two legs. Left knee over the ankle. Send your arms out from your heart. We're going to start to stretch the body toward that left thigh, coming down with the left forearm onto the thigh. So right hand either to the hip, send the right arm straight up to the sky, or reach the right arm long by the right side of the face. Remember to press into that left forearm, get light through the underneath side of the body, and engage your belly button into spine. Take your gaze down toward your left foot. And feel that long line from the outer edge of that right foot up through the outer leg, through the side body, low back, all the way up and out through your fingertips. Take a breath in. You can choose to stay here, or you can take that left hand down to the yoga block. We'll take our final rounds of breath here. Using a little bit of the arm anchoring into the inner knee hugging slightly back into the arm. Last round of breath. Okay, this top right arm is going to come back to the hip if it's not there already. You're going to press down through your legs and your feet, catch hold of your block, bring it with you to the chest, press into the left foot, straighten the knee, turn all 10 toes to face the long side of the mat. If you have your block, press your hands into your block at the chest. If you're not using a block, just place your hands at your hips. Going to inhale, standing back then with the hands at the hips or the hands pressing into the block. Tailbone down, slight lift of the chin away from the chest. You're going to come forward. So you start to hinge at the hips. So you want to lean a little bit of extra weight into the balls of your feet as we transition. We're just transitioning back to face the front short side. So that block is going to come down to the floor. And then from there, we're going to start to turn all 10 toes to face the front short side of the mat. This block is going to come with you. You could catch hold of your other blocks. You have one block on each side. Spin off your back left heel. All right, so we're going to just find high lunge. We're just going to bend and straighten this front knee a few times. So just kind of warming up the back of the leg just a bit more through these pulses. Just a few more times, just bending and straightening the knee, feeling the warming action in the body that the movement creates. Okay, next time you're in high lunge, we're going to stay there. We're going to take a revolved high lunge position. So left hand on the block or down on the floor. Right hand is going to come up to the hip. You're going to feel your right heel and your left toes almost have this magnetic pull toward one another. So instead of sinking the pelvis down, that energetic line will lift the pelvis up a bit as you turn through the belly. Okay, now gaze down. You can keep the right hand on the hip or slide the right hand up to the right front chest and maybe send that right arm up toward the sky. You can stay here, or I want to invite you maybe to come into this version of revolved triangle. Back heel will actually remain lifted, but we'll start to move the right leg a little more toward straight. Back heel is still off the floor as you press down into the four corners of that front foot, maybe moving the leg more towards straight. I like to use the term straight-ish because it doesn't necessarily mean that the right leg is all the way straight. Take a breath in, span from your heart through your fingers. Exhale, right hand coming down, right knee bending. Shift your blocks forward, press off the back left foot, step forward, take halfway lift with your spine. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold into the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, adjust your blocks back. If you're using them, frame your front foot, step your right foot back into high lunge. Now, initially, we'll just do a little bit of pulsing. So bend your left knee, straighten your left knee. Just do that a few times, just being aware of the warming action at the back of the left leg. Okay, you're going to allow your left knee to bend, right hand on the block or the mat. You're going to slide your left hand up to your hip, beginning in revolved high lunge. Now remember the magnetic pull between the front heel and the back toe, so they kind of have this feeling of drawing toward one another, which then ends up lifting the hips a bit. Keeping the gaze down at the right hand, left hand to hip or to the side chest, or even stretching up toward the sky. Now you can stay here in this position, or you can start to press really solidly through your left foot and maybe start to bring the left leg towards straight. So this carries us into a version of revolved triangle with the back right heel lifted away from the floor. So I find that this version of the pose feels so much better on my low back than trying to keep that back heel spun down toward the floor. Take a breath in. All right, and then exhale. Allow your left knee to rebend fully. Left hand is going to come down. We're going to be stepping back into downward facing dog for a moment. So you can move the blocks. Please feel free to come to table and then into downward facing dog. But we're going to step back and kind of walk out through the knees and the feet a few times. Just to bring some elongation to the backs of both legs. Okay, we're going to be lowering the knees down to the floor. So we'd like to invite you to take a moment and bring your blanket over the center of the mat. We'll do a few cat-cows before we take the locust pose. So as you come to the tabletop, you breathe in, let your belly release and lift up through your heart. Exhale, press your hands in round through your spine. Feeling that fluctuating movement through the spine. Inhale, release the belly, lift your heart. Exhale, press your hands in round your back. One more time. Inhale, release the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, press your hands in round through your spine. Okay, inhale, come to neutral. Walk your hands a little bit forward. So a knee down plank position. So lean your hips forward, float your feet, cross your ankles, cat. We're going to lower down to the belly. So I want to mention, if this lowering down through this push-up action doesn't work well for your body, please just lower the body down to the floor in a way that's really gentle. So you're going to take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to let your elbows begin to bend and lower your chest and your ribs down to the floor. So we're going to take the feet down to the floor, and you can use this blanket support right at the hip bones, or just give a little cushion for those hip bones, especially if the joints are a little more prominent. We're going to slide the hands so they're underneath of the lower chest. So your elbows are going to hug in. Chest is already slightly lifted. We're going to take the tailbone down, reaching the tailbone down to that space between the heels. Your chest is going to start to float away from the floor, and both legs are going to float away from the floor. Now, a gentler way to go through this is to even just do one leg at a time, or to keep the chest down and to do both legs at a time. So you can kind of play with that just a little bit. You can stay here with your hands or float your hands away from the floor. The arms might also extend back. So kind of building in intensity. Hands down is a little more gentle, palms lifted, a little more challenge, arms extended, still yet a little more challenge. So gaze is slightly down, chin slightly in. Let's do another round or two of breath. Breathe in. One more round. Okay. Let's lower the body down. You could create a little stacked palms position. Turn your head to the right or to the left. You can bend your knees so your heels come in, and then sway the lower legs a few times from side to side. Okay, we're going to slide the hands underneath of the chest now, pressing up through all fours, coming around to seated position. We're going to come down onto our spine for one more back bend before we do some seated twists. So blanket can go out to the side, scooting your hips to the center of your yoga mat and coming down in preparation for the bridge pose. So as you come down, we're going to do maybe a couple like little sways with the legs, or sort of a windshield wiper motion with the knees. And then eventually pointing those knees straight up to the sky, heels slightly wider than the sitting bones. Bend at your elbows, forearms facing one another. Press down into your arms. Elevate your hips up into the air, bridge position. Now, please feel free, if you like to prefer to do a little bit of pulsing here instead of holding, you can lower and lift the hips, and that can be your movement. If you feel ready for a longer hold, you can lift the hips, feel the chest bone reaching up toward the chin, lengthen through the back of the skull. You can stay here. Another option might be to catch hold of the sides of your yoga mat. That lifts the hips still a little higher. The last option here might be to interlock the hands beneath the low back and kind of walk the shoulder blades in a little bit. This is going to give us the most challenge for the back though, so please be very mindful of what feels the best in your body. If your hands are interlocked, you're going to send those arms down toward the floor, press into the four corners of your feet. Take another round of breath. Inhale. As you exhale, release your hands, lower your hips. Go a little wide with your feet. Open your arms out to the sides and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Okay, coming up to seated position. So you can roll to one side and come up, or you can hug your knees a little bit into your body and just do a little rock upward toward your pelvis. I'm going to recommend sitting up on the edge of your blanket support here. We're going to take the left leg, extend it forward from the hip, and then we're going to open it out to the left 30 degrees. Bending your right knee so that the knee points upward to the sky. Catch hold of the front of your shin bones and lift your chest and elongate up through your spine. Right hand coming down to the floor, left arm reaching up to the sky. Breathe in, and as you exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So a few options. You can take your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, just kind of wrap it around the front of the shin and then to the outside. Then you can use that to turn your belly toward your right thigh. Now press out through your left heel so much that you even feel your left sitting bone kind of slide forward of the right. Feel free to stay here. Another option is to even kind of loop the whole arm, the forearm, wrapping that elbow crease instead around the front shin bone area. That's going to give you a slightly deeper rotation. Take a breath in and out. Press strong into your right hand. That's going to help give you some lift of your spine. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Coming around to the front. Lean back into your hands. Swap out the legs. Right leg extends but goes open at a 30-degree angle. Left knee bends. Left hand comes down behind the hip. Right arm is going to reach up. Going to take your breath in, stretch up through your right arm, stretch out through your right heel. Exhale, twist your belly toward your left thigh. Now your hand can come to the front shin and then kind of wrap around to the outside. You can turn the belly from there. You might also end up kind of hooking the elbow around the front shin bone region and then pressing down and rotating from there. Press into your left hand and get some length up through your spine as you twist. And you want to keep that right heel pressing forward. Breathe in. Deep breath out. One more round of breath. Okay, and then slowly coming back around to the center, leaning again into the hands. We're going to take the left leg straight forward this time from the hip as that right leg crosses over. Now we're going to be twisting again to the right. One option is going to be to leave this left leg extended out. That's a little more gentle. You can also lean to your left hand and possibly bend your left knee so that left heel kind of hooks in toward the right hip. So this is a secondary option. Now this position of both that I've offered, both positions kind of lock the pelvis down in this one. So the twist is not going to be quite as deep as the last one because the pelvis is really locked down, right? So you're going to take the right hand down to the floor, stretch the left arm up, and then we're going to rotate to the right. Okay, and I want you to use a lot of caution as we're rotating because when we lock the pelvis down and then are trying to rotate from this lower back region, if we rotate too much, that can create some aggravation in the low back. So we just want to think about just kind of hugging the torso in toward the right thigh and then just giving a gentle rotation to the right. I like to think of this as providing some elongation to the outer right hip and down through it's almost like the top portion of the right thigh. Okay, deep breath in. Last breath out. Okay, coming back around to the center. Leaning into the hands. So if the left knee is bent, extending it out, unwinding the legs, sending the right leg out, bending the left knee so that it crosses over. Now you can stay here. We can rotate from there or lean to the right, bend your right knee, and come back down to the center. Left hand going down, right arm reaching. Now, because the pelvis is pretty solidly anchored, we want to think about more sort of compressing the belly, not like we're not twisting the spine as far as we can go in this one. So just kind of compress the organs, little baby twist to the left. You might be able to just kind of gently hook the elbow. Kind of get some rotation here through the ribs. We don't want to aggravate the low back by overly twisting on this one. Deep breath in. All right, last out breath. Okay, slowly coming back to the center, leaning into the hands and unwinding the legs. So point the knees up, kind of hammock the spine here and just rock your knees a couple times. We are going to come down onto the spine. You want to have your strap handy. So you're going to bring your pelvis off the blanket, slide your blanket off to the side, and come down on to your spine. So you're going to take the yoga strap. We're going to unwind it. We're going to take the strap and hook it onto the ball of the right foot as we extend the right heel up toward the sky. You can hold part of the strip in each hand. Feel your heel reach up toward the sky. And if you like, your left leg could reach out along the mat. Deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. Let's do one more round of breath here. Keeping that right leg up on the strap, but allow your left knee to bend so it points up to the sky. We're going to put both sides of the strap into the right hand. Turn your right toes open just a bit to the right and allow your right knee to open to the right as your left bent knee falls open to the left. And the left arm can also extend out to the left side. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. We're going to do one more round of inhale and exhale here. Inhale, let's bring everything back to the center. Right leg comes to the center, bent left knee comes to the center, one side of the strap in each hand. Keeping that right foot up on the strap, pick up your left foot and hook the left foot onto the strap as well. And then begin to release your right foot down. So the right foot is going to come down, it's going to plant down onto the floor as you extend your left heel up toward the sky. You can keep your right knee bent with the foot flat, which is a little more gentle on the low back, or you could extend the right leg out along the floor. Relax your shoulder blades into the mat and feel the back of your head release and settle into the floor. So as the back of the head settles, you feel a softening kind of come up through the top of the skull, over your forehead, just releasing all of the muscular tension from the face as you invite a deeper sense of relaxation into your body. The last inhale and exhale here. All right, rebending now your right knee so that the right foot comes flat to the floor. You're going to place both sides of the strap into the left hand and open your left toes to the left. As the left leg starts to come out to the left, let your bent right knee open out to the right And allow your right arm to reach open to the right side of the room. So we're using this bent left knee and the right arm out to the right to help ground the right side of the pelvis and the right side of the body. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And then on your next breath in, everything is going to come back to the center. This time we're going to be hugging both knees into the chest. So unhook your strap and then hug both your left knee and your right knee into your torso. Kind of let your knees go just a little wide. Let your shoulder blades kind of soften there down to the mat, and then do a little bit of rocking. Good. You can place your feet down on the floor. If you feel like you need any stabilization across the low back, you can press into your feet and just do a low lift into a bridge pose. Just stabilize around the sacrum region. Strengthen through the gluteals. And then you'll lower your hips down. Sending your legs out along the floor. And almost do like a windshield wiper sway with your feet. So just kind of rock the legs and the feet from side to side. You kind of feel that pulse come all the way up through the torso and through the crown of your head. And then we're gonna let the body relax. So heels are gonna start to settle down into the floor as we let the toes fall open and we begin to find some stillness in the body. Maybe turn the palms to face up to the sky. Feeling the weight of the bones settle. Feeling a sense of support beneath you and the feeling of the space above you and around you. Allowing your body to remain still, just coming back into the feeling of your body on the earth, steady wave of the breath circulating through you. So you're ready, let's allow one knee at a time to bend so that the feet come to find the earth. Rolling your body over to the right or to the left, side lying. Pressing your hands down and rising up to your seat. Join your hands at your heart in prayer. Sit tall. The light within me sees and bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.